Very good day, everyone. Welcome to Berani Bersama Conversations with myself, Rashid, Salleh. For those of you who are wondering what Berani Bersama is all about, it is a community effort by Malaysian personalities and creative individuals who will give us a chance to interact with the community and will help elevate as well as boost morale of our family and friends at home. Now, of course, this effort is for us to share our knowledge and skills and abilities via social media. More importantly, though, it is to raise awareness as well as monetary contributions towards MERCY Malaysia's COVID-19 pandemic fund. Of course, for those of you who'd like to donate, please do donate to our fund. It's coming up here. Log on to www.launchgood.com/beranibersama. Now, of course, we do know that during this MCO, many industries have taken a hit, especially those in the hospitality industry. We have seen now a couple of local hotels that have had to close down. And first and foremost, the entertainment industry has taken a massive hit due to the gig economy. Now, we are going to be interviewing a special person who's coming on, who's part of the events industry. He is the CEO of the Livescapes group. Please welcome Mr. Iqbal Ameer. Hi, Iqbal. How are you?
Hey, Rashid. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I mean, it's been quite a bizarre 2 months so far, 2.5 months for a lot of people. So everyone's basically now trying to figure out how to move forward. And that's something that we will be talking about, especially concerning the events industry. Now, for those people who are not familiar with events and also with Livescape, can you give them a brief breakdown of what Livescape does and how they operate?
Sure. So the Livescape Group's been around for about 10 years. We started here in Malaysia in a room in a house, and we've built to a staff of over 30 people in this office in Malaysia. We've also expanded to Singapore and Indonesia. So those are the three markets that we're based at. We primarily do large scale concerts. So we do, and we have brand IPs. So we own a rock festival called Rockaway, which is Malaysia's largest rock festival. We also run a music festival on a cruise ship.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, called It's the Ship. Yeah, yeah, which really got hit by this. So, and then we also do a multitude of corporate events. So we've got corporate clients ranging from Spotify to Chanel to Astro to Mercedes, and we do a whole bunch of corporate gigs across these three markets as well. So we live and breathe events.
So pre-MCO, before it was announced, how many jobs in hand and how many were ongoing at that time?
Pre-MCO, in terms of forecast projections, our Indonesian office was about to do double-digit growth, and our Malaysian office was on track to surpass our previous performance by about 30%. We have our It's the Ship Singapore that has grown to China and Korea. And we also have Rockaway, Malaysia's largest rock festival, which was scheduled to happen in March of this year. And we were also about to introduce a new IP, new event IP, which focused on a different community. And we were also dabbling into F&B and nightlife, and we have investments in there too.
So it was a pretty positive forecast for 2020 pre-MCO.
Extremely positive forecast pre-MCO. In fact, we have this thing that we were talking in the office called Wawasan 2020. So we were taking after tunes Wawasan 2020, and we were using that as 2020 is going to be our year, and since 2015, we were pushing this, so we were saying that in 5 years, we are going to be doing A, B, C, D, and E. And although obviously those things have changed a bit, but 2020 was looking to be very, very strong for us and fulfilling that vision, that Wawasan 2020.
So basically the bulk of your business was mass gathering.
Yes, mass gatherings is our specialty. That's what we do. We take thousands of people and we give them the time of their lives. We even have this thing that we promote very clearly called a Livescape experience, and basically we want to give you a Livescape experience from a gig, a concert, a music festival, or even a client. We want to make sure, and we specialize in mass gatherings, and that's entirely flipped over its head now.
That's right. Now, March 18th came along. I think the first week, a lot of people were still in a daze and trying to figure out what was actually happening. In terms of Livescapes and its group, what was the initial reaction when March 18th hit? Was there a scurry of meetings between existing clients and events they were about to begin?
So basically, when that occurred, we were everyone was extremely optimistic. So our clients, or even ourselves, we were going, oh yeah, this thing's going to happen and it's going to boil over, But we started to take precautionary measures, basically, to ensure precautionary measures within the company. So we basically told everybody to go home and stock up. I sat down with all the members of our team, and I actually played them a video of what COVID-19 was. There was a thing on Vox. So I was afraid that some people in the company, some may think it's a zombie virus, or some people may think no, it's the flu. So I wasn't sure. So I wanted everybody to kind of be aligned here in terms of what exactly this is and how it can impact you as a person and your family, and why it's extremely important to go home and stay home. The good thing about us was for more than 5 months, we've actually been implementing a new guideline in our company called Circles. And basically what this is we allow people to form circles within the company to talk about a certain topic. It could range from a company trip all the way to upkeeping the office, all the way to coming up with merchandise ideas for Rockaway. So there are all these circles, and these circles consist of people that in the company that may not necessarily be involved in it. So like, a human resource person could be inside the company trip one, but we could also have somebody who doesn't know anything about events, and they could be in that circle as well. And the idea was for them to share and learn from each other, but and also but then work within this circle, and I think that was a very good move for us to be doing that for the past 5 months, because when the moment we got back in and we all got home, we didn't sit and let everything kind of simmer down. We basically went straight to work, but in circles. So that allowed the whole online Google Hangout thing to kind of work, because everybody kind of knew how circles worked. So I think that was a good thing we had.
What about obviously you do have competitors. What was happening around you? Was it quite alarming to see the other event companies also being affected, and how they reacted to it? What from a Livescape's point of view, were they very, did you take note of what was happening, and did you try and change the way you operated when this MCO started?
There were two things. So there is the live event promoters, which a lot of them focus on just promoting live concerts.
Right.
And then they were the normal event organizers. They just do corporate stuff, and we are friends with both, because we indulge ourselves in both of those business pillars. But then, so on the live sector, there was a bit of fear and anger, but it's also because we are a very fearful and angry bunch, because we've always had things thrown our way, from Puspal to the tourism to government to religious groups. We've always had these sort of things happen to us. So, we've been slapped around quite a bit. So there was this very obvious fear and anger side happening, but also very realistic in terms of, okay, what is this going to mean? And what can we do now to help change this? And a lot of people in Alive or in the Alive Council are very experienced people. So that's what was extremely benefiting. On the other side, on the corporate side, it was a very optimistic outlook. A lot of people thought that this thing was going to boil over. It's going to take a week and it'll be fine. Don't worry, because how can you live in a world without events? So people were like, yeah, things are going to be fine. I'm just going to hold on to my to my clients. Don't worry, things will be okay. And that side, and actually that side was the fearful side. On the other corporate guys, because it's not going to be the same. And they were very optimistic instead of being realistic.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that was the key worry there. And obviously we try to give advice where we can, and we try to, but when it comes to suddenly realizing that you're kind of on your own, you start to think about your survival, and a lot of people think about the good things instead of just the bad things, because makes you feel better, right?
Right. A month into almost a month into the MCO, we saw a plethora of people cooking, people doing all this stuff. Being very positive towards the lockdown. In the events on the events industry side, they were waiting for government policies on SMEs, on companies, on how they should be either operated or and in some cases money given back or compensated. Now, of course, with the events industry, irrespective of whether you're Sundram Berhad or not, again, that is way down the list in terms of if banks will come number one. And then what was that something that you guys had to look at within? Did you sit down with the financial guys, the CFOs, and said, you said backstage, right, we don't want to lose staff. So what had to be done within that first month when everyone realized that we couldn't do this? It was not going to be this normal anymore.
So as a company, the first thing we did was, instead of waiting for stimulus packages from the government and whatnot, because none of that had come out yet, we were basically pulling back our funds. We were trying to figure out what investments we had done and what can we pull back, because of the projects, like I mentioned earlier to you, we had agreements with FMB, a new FMB project venture they were working on. We had 3 ships basically that have been blocked and locked and loaded, and artist bookings that have been done. So that's where all our money was sitting. So we had to go back and renegotiate and change certain terms and get this money back home, so that we could help keep our house intact. So that was the first sort of action that we did. The second thing that we did was the directors met and basically went, okay, let's say there is no amount of money coming in, no money coming in at all. Let's say, how long do we have? How long do we have until the walls are going to start to crumble, and we're going to start having a few holes in our roof? So we established that, and then from that we went, okay, now what do we need to do to ensure that it doesn't happen? All this without looking at any initiatives by the government as of yet. I think the thing about Livescape is that we've been quite used to not getting any support from the government at all, because we've had our history, and we've always and again, we're the live events industry, so so we didn't look at that. And then when the stimulus packages did come out, you are 100% correct. We went and applied to every single bank. We applied to every single bank. We tried every single thing we could to get any sort of approvals, but we got none. Banks came back to us, and we were either not a client of the bank.
I think the operative word was non-essential.
Non-essential, yeah. So it was either we weren't a client of the bank, or we were non-essential. And that's when I was speaking to our Clarice, who's one of our colleagues in the finance department, and me and her were working on this and trying to figure out how to get this, and she and our CFO, and I can feel the disheartening messages that she's sending over, going, bank just rejected, this is the reason, as the, I guess you gotta keep your team's morale high, and you gotta say, don't worry, let's go to the next, and at the same time, Alive took action and started lobbying with the government, so started lobbying with the Ministry of Communication and telling them, okay, we're definitely not getting the support that we're getting, and what can we do to maybe fast track like if you want to have discussions about how events are going to happen post COVID, why don't we have those conversations now, so that when you do open it up and open the market up, we can get to work immediately, So that was working on that side as well. And the discussions were, to be honest, in the beginning a bit one-sided. The focus was more on, obviously, on other things, and then after that it was catering more to the conventions and exhibitions and more of those sort of events, because those have a lot of business opportunity, because those are focused on people investing in the country, or that it was focused on those sort of conferences, and then only like live events, but our friends in the conference sectors literally kind of roped us in and said, hey, don't forget about these guys, don't forget about these guys as well, these guys are around, so that was good, and that conversation has been ongoing, and obviously not as fast as we'd like, because there's so much other things that need to be prioritized instead of a live event. Either than that, that's basically what happened.
Well, I've got a comment here from Mai. She's with Rizal, LOL. We went through the same experience as Iqbal mentioned, bring back money and applied for loans.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were doing that, even irrespective of the size of the company. Now, again, so you're faced with this, all stumbling blocks. It's funny you mentioned the conference side, because the conference industry usually the ones who benefit the most from MOTAC. Not that I'm just not words from my usually facts, but
100%.
100%, because you have so many government conferences. They're the first people who will get the funding anyway.
And Rashid, I'll tell you one more thing. It's really funny how the tourism industry contacts the live events industry and tells us to throw big concerts so that we can promote tourism. And then the moment something happens, suddenly there's nada coming from tourism. You know what I mean? No one thinking about this.
I know. I mean, what they say, dog eat dog. But so second month coming in, so you had to look for alternative strategies and alternative. You started pivoting. Now, tell us a bit about that.
So basically, what happened was we had to look in terms of what do we have that other event companies don't, or other companies don't that may want, and from there we realized that we've spent a lot of these years building brands. It's a Ship is a brand, Rockaway is a brand, and how we've always worked is we basically decide that we're going to do an event. We set the date for the event. Okay, the event's going to happen in December, and then we use a social platform to promote leading up to the event, because the event is our revenue generator, right? So I sell tickets for the show, I get sponsorship for the show, I build on ancillary for the show, and basically that's how traditionally we've always done it, And how we thought we were different was, instead of the highlight being the artist that comes in, we try to make the brand the highlight, and we try to make fans not care about who's going to be on the lineup. I'm just going to go for the festival because of the name of the festival, like Coachella. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest, Coachella can put anybody and everybody's still going to go. Because they know it's a really good experience, right? So that's what we were building ourselves towards. But along the way, what we've built is we've built a brand, and we've also built a community of like-minded people. So Rockaway or It's the Ship, they're completely different demographics, completely different buying habits, completely different affirmations, very, very different. But then they're all interested in this brand because they feel that it represents them, So then we started to deep dive in and look at, okay, what does the brand represent? And how can we monetize off it?
Right.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of projects lined up now that kind of give us a sort of like a direction as a company to look towards, and basically a challenge, like, okay, how are we going to be able to elevate this community and use this and kind of give them what they want. Instead of just being the rock festival, just being the ship festival. What are things that are lacking now that we can give to them now? So that's what we did. We also took advantage of sort of certain online presence and certain things. We launched a website called Scared What, which is basically a merchandise shop, and we literally are selling T-shirts. And yeah, it's rebellious design wear. I'll send you one, Rashid.
Hey,
Maybe you can wear it on your next show. Yeah, but basically, it's Livescape's known for our sort of dry humor, and we put that sort of branding around our brand. So we've we had a certain politician who basically asked a woman in the house to speak like Doraemon. So we came up with a Doraemon T-shirt. Like family members in a T-shirt, but then the woman of the house is a Doraemon character. So we have stuff like that, and that sells really well. So far that's good. We came up with another platform called InstaDare, which is basically getting people in our community to basically dare each other to do something that would take them out of their comfort zone because everybody's at home. So you could go to Instagram and check it out, and it's basically like wear a onesie and go and do your grocery shopping, and few people put money in together, like 50 ringgit each, and they send it there to that person, and that person has to record it, and that person gets money.
Right.
So we kind of take about, it's also the idea of, hey, look, I'm going to be able to make some cash by doing something uncomfortable that my friends really want me to see. It's all fun. And that's leveraging off the feedback that we got from our It's the Ship community. Right. And we have another one which is called Box School, which is basically helping micro entrepreneurs sell their stuff by putting all these things into a box and going to our list of clients that we have and telling them, instead of sending a hamper, why don't you help these micro entrepreneurs who are trying to make a living too, and send these to your clients instead. So projects like that.
Now, you're talking about clients. Have you had clients who've, we always talk about having clients who stick by us through thick and thin. Has that been the case so far?
We've got good relationship with clients, and we're very, very happy for that. But none of these clients are on retainer, so we don't have reoccurring income monthly with clients. Unlike a PR company or an agency, they have retainers, and worst case scenario is they might come and renegotiate the retainer with you and say, look, I can't pay you 25K a month, I'm going to pay you 15K a month, and you just have to make it work, right? Whereas for us, we have clients who basically go, hey, look, when this thing boils over, we're definitely going to use you guys again, and we're like, yeah, but we got to still be here, in order for you guys to use our services. So yes, we have clients, we've got good relationships, but none of them are reoccurring income. They're all projected income that's going to come later, But what we did do was we actually went to these clients and we actually spoke to them. We have had clients that have come to us and basically gone, look, I've never been in a shit show of a situation, and I still need to sell.
Yes.
What can you do to help me do that? And we've worked on a couple of campaigns. We've worked on 4 so far, and all 4 are good. Unfortunately, I can't name who the clients are. Yeah, but we've worked on 4 of them. I think 1 is still ongoing, and and that helps. It's not enough to cover your monthly overheads, but it helps.
Now, of course, these are all what we probably would call short-term benefits to it. However, in terms of looking at it long-term, has it given your staff a new set of skills in terms of how they approach now events in that sense, or how they approach the business from a Livescape's point of view?
So we have this thing in Livescape where if you come and work in the company, your position is a title, and that's it. It doesn't mean you are the CEO. You're not wiping puke off the floor in a gig room. Everybody's got to do everything, and it's all hands on deck when it comes to an event, no matter what position you are. We've implemented that from the start, and it's quite shocking for certain people who come into the company like, I'm a designer, I'm not supposed to be doing this, and we're like, yo, welcome to Livescape, man. You gotta start hanging out stuff, and that's kind of helped out in the sense of everybody kind of figures out and knows what is required for an event, and it allows them to really look at that when they are coming out with a pitch or coming with an event. So that helps. This time around, what's happened is it's kind of the same thing, but now nobody knows. You know what I mean? It's not somebody going, okay, this is what you're gonna do. It's kind of everybody's going, hey, how do I code? And we're going to learn how to build a website, and then suddenly, instead of it just going to our marketing department, to go and source a third-party person to figure out a website, now I know how to build a website. You know what I mean? Yeah. So everybody's got to suddenly learn about payment gateways, learn about websites, learn about digitizing keynotes, and everybody's learning on it,
Yeah, well, that's where you said earlier, the circles help out, because if there's one person there who knows, they can share that idea with the small community.
Correct.
And then it goes on within your Livescape's big family.
Exactly.
Now, moving towards the future, we're 26 minutes in, so we're almost there. But moving forward, one thing that we discussed backstage earlier was now in terms of the different alternatives that event companies can do, or at least try and procure, or at least the different ideas that they can do. And this is online, webinars and the such. Is it something that you guys, because in a way it's a different type of mass gathering, and again, the rumors of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg saying that they will start concerts and paid concerts. Is that something you guys going to take advantage of, or because there is no old normal, there's going to be new normal?
Yeah. So basically, what we've done is, in regards to live stream concerts and performances, we actually see it as a short-term solution, because we think that nothing can beat a live event.
Yes.
Yeah, nothing can beat it of you actually being there, and we don't think that it's going to be here for a long I'm talking like 5 years. I don't think it's going to be there. But what we've started to really look at is that how do I say this? Digitizing events should be looked at from things like an AR and VR perspective, because that has good, and that's what Livescape is focusing on. It's a new pillar we've kind of introduced, which is we providing AR and VR services for clients, and it's been quite good. We've got 3 or 4 clients who've approached us. We've even got a few people in the events company who's come to us and say, hey, can you tell me what AR is so I can pitch to my client? You know what I mean?
Augmented reality. It was picking up before pre-MCO.
Yeah. And this is a perfect opportunity to offer that to your clients as a long-term solution, because hey, look, this kind of puts you away from the pack. It's not a quick fix, There was this guy who does photo walls for us.
Yeah.
So we have an event, we call him, and he does the photo walls for us, and he actually hit me up and will say, hey, when things get better, can you refer your clients to me to build photo walls? I don't have any business right now, but when things get better, I hope that you will consider me. And I replied him going, why are you waiting? You do photo walls. People know you as a company that does photo walls.
Yes.
Why don't you do designs for Zoom backgrounds and sell them for $1 for your brands, right? Why don't you go back to all the clients you got and go back to them and go, look, I'm still a photo wall company, but the digital photo wall lah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he said, oh, but I don't know how to do I said, figure it out, man. But then this is the way
you're in the business.
You're in the business. You are the you're the photo wall guy, right? So why don't you look at it that way? So and I think the other service that we're putting a lot of attention and focus to is what we call COVID conscious events.
Right.
So post MCO, I think when Malaysia goes to single digits, I think the government is going to allow events to happen, although not in the sort of scale and mass that we are used to. But as a client, if you decide that you cannot digitize your particular product or service and it needs to be in an event, and you need and make sure that you do it consciously. So we provide a COVID conscious service where we will look at every single aspect and lower your risk of ensuring that a case doesn't happen. You know, so that's what we're doing. So any clients that come and talk to us about Q3 or Q4 or stuff, we tell them, all right, cool, but this is a new outlay that you have to consider that goes into your budget, and it's something that we are specializing in now.
Out of all the before we finish off, out of all the events that you own, I'm talking about the ship and all. What do you guys miss the most?
Oh, what do we miss the most? Okay, I'll tell you, and anybody and everybody in Livescape will vouch me for this. It is the moment when the last artist comes on and plays the third song. So basically, we have a rule in Livescape is when the main act comes on and has sang the third song, that means the show is not going to screw up. You're already there. That means in terms of sound, in terms of power, in terms of the bar F&B, everybody's in already. There's everything is already fine, and you can have your first drink. And that moment is what I personally miss the most, because you get to see what you've built. So from turning a car park into a music festival to turning a venue like KL Live into everybody singing and having a great time, and it was all done with your team. Your team built something out of nothing. And so it's that specific moment, when the headliner comes on the third song.
Now, it's such a bittersweet memory for me, because I do miss it, but I don't. In some ways, I do really miss it. You missed those moments, but the 3 hours sleeps in between, and
I know. You definitely know what I'm talking about, right? You do.
It's like growing up with it. Yeah, it's like 20 over years ago, and thinking, and especially when it was such a young industry then, and you really had to rely on each other and the supplies and all that, and everyone knew everyone. We'll take another a quick question, because this is quite relevant. Jessica Richards says, are you looking at any new esports opportunities? Now, gaming is rising stronger than ever. Can you create special events through that?
So Livescape actually has interest in esports. We invested. We've invested into an esports event team called Geek, GEEK, and they've gone around, and it was one of the first few things we looked at. And to be honest, they are way ahead of us. So esport communities and events are live streamed. They're live streamed. There's no sort of input or speciality or skill set that we can go in there and say, oh, how about you guys do it this way? It's a completely different world. We've organized esports events before. We actually had an IP called TML years ago, called the Major League, and we gave it a go. It was a real total dive into learning something completely new. But I don't think the esport guys need any support. I think they've been doing fine without us, and they're going to continue to do fine as the days go by, as you're staying at home.
Well, they've created their own niche before everyone knew about it, and then by the time this hit, we were like, "Wow, how far behind are we in terms of?"
Exactly, exactly, and I think they're not even happy that now a lot of us are suddenly trying to find out more about esports, because they've been very happy in their own communities and geeking out with each, and then suddenly esport athletes have to figure out how to be attractive and get endorsements now, and be a new corporate brand has come on board and given a ton of money to these guys, and these guys have to wear their t-shirts all the time, and they hate that. you know.
Wow.
So I don't think they necessarily like us.
I think it's more of us eating away on their bandwidth, I think.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know what? We could go on and talk about this, but we've passed the time. But Iqbal, it's been really insightful. Thank you very much for joining us here at Berani Bersama Conversations. Any last words for especially those guys who are struggling, especially in the events industry?
Well, to anybody tuning in that's actually looking for some sort of solution on how event companies are going to survive this, there is no solution. You just got to know the facts, and that's the reality of it. What everybody needs to do is everybody needs to help each other. Kita jaga kita, be there for one another. Try to innovate and try to do something different. Try to look at what your company has that other people don't, and then try to digitize that. That's the easiest way to kind of get things going. And I'll see you on the other side, Ben. Livescape's just on chapter 10 right now. I mean, we're 10 years in. We've got a ton of more chapters to go. I believe in that truly, and I believe that you write your own future. Don't let it be written for you.
Ah, wow, famous last words for me anyway. Don't let it be written, because now I'm online. I'm writing everything online. Well, thank you very much. For those of you, of course, you can try and I contact him through us if you'd like to get more insights or any questions. But from us, thank you very much, Iqbal. For those of you who'd like to continue with us on our Facebook page, we are going to have another Berani Bersama Conversations later on at 5 o'clock. That's not too far away. But from us here, thank you very much, and we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Rashid.